everyone, I'm Brandy, an OpenSciEd teacher and professional learning facilitator. This lesson plan video is about the OpenSciEd Chemistry Unit 1, Lesson 6. This is an important lesson where our students will plan an investigation to test our ideas about how microbeads prevent ice melt. So during lesson 5, we figured out that the Ilulissat Glacier is the largest flow of melt in Greenland. The front edge of the glacier has been receding over many decades. There are two proposed solutions. One is to build a huge underwater berm between Disco Bay and the Ilulissat Ice Fjord to prevent the warm, salty ocean water from coming into contact with the glacier. The other is to spread thin layers of microbeads on Arctic ice in the summer months. In this lesson, we're wondering, why would some engineers want to sprinkle glass microbeads on the Arctic? So at a glance, this is a 2-day lesson, and it's where the students are planning and carrying out an investigation related to the microbeads. This lesson can be broken up into 3 chunks across 2 days. In the first loop, we plan and carry out an investigation to figure out how the microbeads prevent the ice melt. Students investigate how different colored materials change temperature under a heat lamp. We figure out that the different materials absorb and reflect light energy differently, and we wonder how the light interacts with the different materials. In the second loop, we read about how light interacts with the different materials. We figure out that more reflective materials like fresh ice or snow have a high albedo or reflectivity, and the dark materials absorb the light, and those particles speed up and re-emit infrared light. We wonder, how could we model carbon dioxide and microbeads and affect the energy flow that is melting the ice? In the third loop, we model how the microbeads work and how the carbon dioxide and microbeads will affect ice melt. And then we use our model to build on the idea of feedback loops. We figure out that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases transmit visible light, but absorb infrared light, trapping it in the Earth's system. A feedback loop could occur as an additional carbon dioxide causes increased temperatures. The microbeads could work by reflecting visible light, but they're extremely expensive and there are environmental concerns. We wonder, how do feedback loops affect Earth's systems? So to summarize, we figure out that there's different materials that they absorb and reflect light energy differently. When dark materials absorb visible light, their particles speed up and re-emit infrared light or heat. Carbon dioxide transmits visible light but absorbs infrared light. The microbeads could work by reflecting visible light, but they're extremely expensive and there are environmental concerns. A feedback loop could occur as additional carbon dioxide causes increased temperatures. So now for some key moments. The key moment in part 3, after planning the investigation to figure out how the microbeads prevent the ice melt, the students will investigate these different colored materials and how they change temperature under a heat lamp. This is where the students will generate their own evidence to see that both colors will heat up somewhat, but the darker color heats up more than the white or the lighter color. The key moment in part 5 is where we get to build on our understanding of why it is that the darker colored construction paper seems to absorb so much more energy than the lighter colored paper. Students read about light and materials. There are some key terms that are introduced, including infrared light, radiation, and albedo. The reading also tells us that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases let visible light through, but they absorb infrared light, meaning that the energy is soaked up by the gas molecule. The key moment in part 9 is where the students will make some predictions that if humans continue to release more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and no solutions like microbeads were implemented, then the ice would melt more and there would be more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and Earth's temperatures would get warmer. As a class, we update and examine the transfer models that show how the microbeads would reflect some of the visible light back into space and reduce the amount of energy transferred to carbon dioxide or to the ice. So where do we go from here? We figure out that the microbeads work because they reflect energy from the sun and that carbon dioxide radiated infrared energy. We're wondering if the microbeads really are a good solution to prevent polar ice melt, or if cost or complicated feedback loops could hurt their effectiveness. This leads us to wonder, how do the feedback loops affect Earth systems? So, in the next lesson, we'll put the pieces together to understand that many changes in Earth systems, like increased warming due to melting ice and permafrost releasing carbon dioxide that speeds up warming, are due to feedback loops. Now for some materials management and some tips. In part 3, this is where we are putting together the investigation. If you have a good clamping surface, great, go ahead and clamp the lamp there. But if not, find a separate cord or string to hang the lamp vertically so it's pointing down. Make sure the lamps are hung from something stable and that the beam is 30 centimeters above where the students are testing the materials. If you have more lamps available, use a separate one for each sample. If not, just make sure that the lamp is in the center so that it's shining on both samples equally. Remind students to use caution because the lamps will be very hot. So alternatively, there's some folks on Facebook that have shared that they've allowed their students to design investigations along this same theme. They've made available testing materials like sand or pony beads, and they've used infrared thermometers. In my own classroom, I wanted students to be able to see the effects more clearly. So I gave them black and white construction paper and chocolate chips that they put into zip bags. We went outside because it was a nice and sunny day, but you could easily just put the 2 bags under the lamps. Students really understood the albedo effect because the chocolate chips on the black paper melted faster than on the white paper. It was a great visual for all of them. In the lights and materials reading in part 5, we encounter those glossary words that I was talking about, infrared light, radiation, and albedo. We also introduce feedback loops as we update the energy transfer models in part 9. And in part 10, we'll update our personal glossaries and our progress tracker. For poster management, you'll want to have several anchor charts available from the previous units. The driving question board, the investigation anchor chart from lesson 3, the rules for energy transfer models from lesson 2, and the class consensus model from lesson 5. There are no new posters created during this lesson. So to summarize, in this lesson, the students focused on the microbeads' proposed solution and designed and conducted an investigation about the albedo effect. Up next in lesson 7, where the students will learn about how feedback loops affect Earth systems and complete a mid-unit transfer task. Good luck and have fun.